Hello, everybody. I am CJ Matthews, the host of Wrestle Talk Radio. Last week I wasn't here because I had a family emergency. I'd like to thank Adam Malcolm for hosting the show for me. Normally you would hear Happier Pop and you'd hear our theme music, but today I'd like to talk about something more serious. The coronavirus has invaded our country and it's taking a toll on a lot of states, especially New York, across the country, pretty much everywhere, even here. Well, mostly, but AC, quiet studio, no applause, no audience. It's just me. And I want all our listeners, we at Wrestle Talk Radio care about our listeners. We care about our fans, we care about our listeners, we care about our guests. So today, we are going to do something we probably never ever really done before. We are going to do something we like to call in the radio game an empty studio show. We saw Monday Night Raw do it. We saw AEW Dynamite do it when they did a show with no people in the arena. Today we are pretty much going to do the same. For the first time in history, we're going to do an empty studio show. No one, I am the only one here in the building. So with that being said, let's get on with our show. Last time when Adam Malcolm left you, he left you. Sorry about that. Thank you. Last time Adam Malcolm was here, he left you with situations going on between James Black and Devil Dog. If I may say myself, that's a Hecate situation. I mean, I get it. I get these two have history with each other and freedom. I get it. I really do. But one thing, I get it. Wrestling is wrestling. I get that. But one thing, when you put a man's deceased wife into it, it somewhere down the line it crosses that line. I mean, I get it. Issues are issues. Tempers flare. I get it. I do. I get it. But when a line gets crossed, when you mention a man's deceased wife, when you mention someone's mom, to it, call her a drunkie bee. I mean, a drunkie bee. I don't know. Maybe it's just the journalism in me talking, but that seems to me crosses the line. I mean, I myself, I know what it's like, and I feel for Devil Dog. I mean, my wife passed away 2 years ago, So I feel for Devil Dog. So I know what that's like to have to raise a family by themselves. I know what it's like, and I pretty much mourn her death. I look at her picture, and I wish every day she was here with me. But I get storylines and histories, and I get that, I really do. But basically, there are just some things that should, there are just some things in some places where it should not go. And myself, with that, I think that this is going to be a combustible situation, and I don't know where this could end up. I mean, this could end up in the street, it can end up in the parking lot. I mean, it could end up, these two can end up fighting in jail. Who really knows with these two? But basically, I hope Three Dog management can get control of the situation before it gets way out of hand. Speaking of another, but we'll get back to that situation later. But right now, there's another situation I would like to talk about. Hollywood Shane Jericho has said a lot, and he did an interview with him a couple of 2 days ago at his home in Massachusetts, and he said said as in himself that he said that he wrote something and Twitter stating that he did something that I thought in all my years that I've known him, that I have never seen him do. He sat here and he said that he knows he can be a pain in the ass. He knows that he steps on people's toes, he rubs people the wrong way a lot, he knows all this, but I have never heard him say that in all my years of doing this, being in the journalism, reporting, interviewing a lot of legends, and I've interviewed some a lot, but I have never, ever in my whole life, ever heard him say that. I mean, I interviewed his brothers, JR and Brandon. I even interviewed his sister. I even interviewed his mother at WEW headquarters. When I went to see her a month ago, they do an exclusive interview when she took over as CEO of the company. When I interviewed her, she even said it herself. But to hear him come out and say that, it sheds a whole lot on topic with Shane Jericho. And also, it was also reported back then. Sorry about that. Now, moving on. Even she have even said so that being a part of a legendary wrestling family can take its toll on a lot. I mean, three of your older children, wrestlers, and into the home. I mean, SBJ. I mean, when your father is an announcer, and when people know your dad, and people have a lot of respect for your father, people have a lot of respect for your mother, and then people don't really care too much for you because you rub people the wrong way, but then you turn around and 2 or 360 like this. It's a world that that says a lot. So kudos to you, Shane Jericho. But also like to touch on another situation involving him. But this time this includes Tyler Ace and Manny Ortiz. A while ago, we was reported a situation that when Trey Jeter attacked Manny Ortiz in an interview after a show, It was like to a point that was like where crazy, and people talking about where where was Tyler, I was there, blah blah blah, and then now it come to a point that Tyler actually had to defend himself on Twitter when basically he was getting it pretty much verbally attacked by a lot of people, including a lot of wrestlers who also attacked him. I mean, Mel Sanchez, Dorado, Ewan Taylor. I mean, a lot of these guys who work for WEW, a lot of these guys verbally attacked Tyler Ace. I mean, and there are a lot of guys who don't like Tyler Ace. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of wrestlers don't like him. I mean, and it's not. Some of them has nothing to do with wrestling. It's more to a point that maybe say this with all due respect. But Tyler has the reputation of ruining marriages and relationships. Now, I don't, whether it's true or not, doesn't really matter, but basically, it came to a point that he has a reputation of ruining marriages. And he has a reputation of ruining relationships. I mean, there's a couple of relationships, especially one of the talents are in the WWE. Said said himself that Tyler is a total asshole, and he would shoot him if he ever saw him again. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of wrestlers don't like him, and one of the wrestlers has been very verbal against Tyler. One of them happens to be Dorado. Dorado and has said on numerous occasions that Tyler Ace had tried to sleep with his girlfriend multiple times while he was on the road, while he was training, and blah, 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 blah. But here's the weird, funny thing about this. When we asked Nikki Six, who happens to be the girlfriend of Tyler Ace, Dorado, we asked him. We did an interview with her. And she said herself, she never had a problem with Tyler Ace. Tyler is the type of guy where a lot of people seem to have an issue with him because they are like to say a lot of females are attracted to him. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, hell, I've been at wrestling shows myself where I've actually seen women throw themselves at Tyler. But anyway, basically moving on from that. I mean, there's really not that much been going on in the Effect Wrestling story due to this coronavirus thing. So pretty much, but I just wanted to be some touching those two topics, and basically, gentlemen, be safe out there. I mean, do the mask thing cover up? I mean, a lot of wrestlers. I mean, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of companies did shows, did empty arena shows. I mean, to keep the people safe, to not have them come out, just have them watch on TV. I mean, a lot of people have done that. A lot of indie shows are doing it. Oh, Manny, who's been suspended, has also did a couple of interviews from his home. Instead of normally he travels to do interviews, but he did a couple of interviews from his house that we will get into another time. Well, it's been great having you guys with me on this special edition of Wrestle Talk Radio. And we hope this corona thing will end soon so we can get back to our normal, usual peppy self. But basically, let's be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, don't forget your gloves, your masks, and basically, if you don't have to go out, stay in. We will entertain you where we are. Wrestle Talk Radio will entertain you from where you are. Same thing with the wrestling shows. Same thing with the companies. They will entertain you. The show does not stop. Wait,